Hello and welcome to the Capital Conversation with me, Michael Hayman. Now, my guest today took her purpose, her dreams in life, and turned them into the profits of a business. It's a healthy living story that has created a haven for food and encouraged more of us to make the right choices. It's the story of the organic supermarket sensation Planet Organic, and it's the story of its campaigning founder, Renee Elliott. Renee, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you on, in fact. Now, let's start with a quote, if I may. The Independent described you as being into organic food before it was cool. Do you feel cool now?
I made it cool.
You made it cool.
I did. Yes, we were ahead of our time. It was '94 when I was setting up the business. And trying to get investment, I remember trying to paint the picture of what we were doing. And one person said, so it's going to be like a really big health food store. And I said, no, not health food stores known then, but fruit and veg, meat and fish, lots of fresh, juice bar, whole different supermarket. So getting that concept across was difficult, getting investment was difficult.
And what was the breakthrough? When did people finally get it? I mean, did you just have to keep on trading until you got further on, or was there a kind of light bulb moment?
There was, thank God, because we opened in November '95, and by the end of December, I thought we were going down. And what happened was we knew we had to raise awareness about food, get people thinking about food, the conventional food, and the problems with that. But that's a massive task for a new company with no money. And what happened was we hired a PR company, and then there was a big BSE scare that February. This was '96.
So and everyone had fresh food.
Yeah, everyone freaked out about meat and started to shop the meat counter. And then later that year, there was an E. coli scare. It was when Edwina Curry was in office, and it put us on the map.
Right.
We took off.
So going back to '94, where's the first store? Where's the first Planet Organic open?
The first is Westbourne Grove. That's my baby.
Yeah, so that's the first?
Yeah.
And now give us a sense of where it's got to in terms of how many stores?
We have 7 stores in different locations. What's interesting is Westbourne Grove worked very well as a high residential store. And then our second was Torrington Place, which was very different. And then the next ones were different. And every time we opened, I thought, could we just do the same thing again so we know it's a home run? But we tried different formats, but happily they have all worked.
They've all worked. Now, you've always struck me as an ambitious person. You've been quoted as saying, I wanted it so badly I almost had stomachache. You know, that kind of the hunger for success. Have you still got the hunger? And have you still got stomachache?
I don't have a stomachache. I do have the hunger, but for different things now, because it's gone. Well-being is really my thing, and it was all about food. But it wasn't. It's funny you say ambition, which is very male. For me, it was desire. It was this passion to do something that I felt really strongly about.
Okay, with desire, that's fine. We can work with that. But is the desire still? I mean, when you look at what you've created, you look at where it is today. You've got the digital offer, all of those sorts of things. Is it a sense of mission accomplished with Planet Organic now?
It is in that Planet is successful, and that's great, and it's growing, and that's great. But that mission for me, the mission of promoting health in the community, that is still my mission every day. It's what gets me up, keeps me researching, reading, talking, lecturing, teaching, all the time. And
you're at the vanguard, at this sort of front line of purposeful businesses that want to do good things with the planet. I mean, can you make money with those sorts of businesses? Are they the future of business?
And I think entrepreneurs these days, and particularly women, are often leading from the heart, from passion, from purpose. And I think if you're going to have a business and be fulfilled doing work that you love for the rest of your life, which was the selfish reason why I set up Planet Organic, that's where you are in business.
Now, if you believe the rumours, there are advisors at work now getting ready to help you sell Planet Organic. Is that where its ultimate destination is going to be in the hands of others?
Well, the rumours are because we're looking for funding. The market's good, Planet's doing well, we want to continue to expand. So we're looking for money, and we need to find that money. It's always out there.
Right.
In terms of selling, that was always on the cards because I have shareholders, and they always want to sell at some point. Now, our shareholders have been with us for a long time, but I've always asked myself that question: how would it feel? What would I do? And it's tricky because...
And how do you feel about this potential, that sort of moment, liquidity moment?
I have thought about this for a long time because it's like having a child. From the moment a business starts, it can be a process of letting go. Like when you have a child, from the moment they're born, you're letting them go. So I've thought, what else would I do? How would I feel? And for me, it was about embedding the values in the company, because everyone says, oh, it gets bigger or it gets sold, and they destroy the values. So embedding the values so it continues to be values-led and commercially driven.
But businesses like yours, I mean, look at Whole Foods, look at some of the other sort of big sales of the moment. These businesses are very popular in terms of being bought up by Amazon and other sorts of businesses. Who ultimately buys those shares? The people that actually may come along to take Planet Organic to the next stage. Does it matter who the buyer is? Would you sell to an Amazon, for example?
A lot of people think it matters, and I think as long as the business is continuing to do good, as long as Planet is promoting health in the community, for me, that's all that matters for me. And growing the organic market.
Would you be happy with Amazon as a potential?
Yeah. If they continue to grow Planet and promote sustainable agriculture and promote organic food and health food and change the way people eat, yes, and it's still on mission.
So let's move on to what you campaign about, that healthy living, healthy lifestyles. I mean, I'm just thinking, 1994, I mean, we've gone from TV dinners to overnight oats. I mean, I thought it was something completely different. But I mean, in terms of what that says about the change in society that you've witnessed, give us a sense of compare and contrast between, then and now.
Yes, I didn't. People often said, did you think it would get this big or go this quickly? I had no idea. I had a vision for what the company would do, and I didn't know what would happen. The acceleration has been very exciting because there's so much more awareness now about what healthy eating means, what it means to feel well, to have energy to go into the world and do things.
Are there signals, are there moments in time where you've been able to spot trends and go, that's going to go big, this type of food's going to be the future? I mean, how do you sort of, what's the crystal ball?
My intuition's pretty good. And I always say, listen to your gut, because if you're interested and you're exploring and learning about your field and food, you tend to know what's coming. You can see things that are coming. The other thing is to look to California, because they always lead.
Okay, so they're right. I mean,
that's my crystal ball.
So we can look to California, but also when you look at the sort of some of the reading, you see how successful you've been with particular segments, like millennials, younger sort of buyers of food. We hear they're a very different tribe. How different are they?
Well, I think they think about health in a different way. They respect their bodies in a different way. They want to achieve and dream big. And to do that, you have to start with the foundation of health. You have to feel well. And they treat their bodies as a temple in a different way. I hear kids who say, my friends at uni, no one's drinking. Obviously, this isn't everywhere, but they're juicing or having smoothies, eating raw, dairy-free. It's a whole different...
And yet, on the other side of this might well be the heaviest generation that's ever lived.
That's true.
Is that where the battle line is drawn?
There are always extremes, and it's what I think is positive and hopeful is that we're moving in a direction of greater awareness around food, greater awareness around diet, talking about obesity and people being overweight and looking at ways to solve that.
Now, you've written some books, three recipe books, I believe, in terms of actually mainly focused on kids and actually sort of younger sort of eaters. I mean, why that focus?
Well, I wrote the first book when I was weaning my third child, and when I was weaning my first child, I thought, oh my gosh, what do? I have this baby, I've been breastfeeding really easy, no mess, no fuss, nothing, and then suddenly you have to give her food, and the book I wanted wasn't out there. So I started creating recipes with my first, and by the time my third came, I had enough data for a book. So I wrote Best Recipes for Babies and Toddlers, which was great. The second one was, if you have kids and you're a family, you really need to be focusing on the mom and dad, because I think for the first two, my husband and I ate salad, and I just cooked for the babies. So the second book was, you're eating this, and then separate this off and cook it for the baby. But the last book is not. The last book is really about what to eat and how to eat it. Because a lot of people start with really great ingredients and then don't necessarily know what to do with them. And it's 99 ingredients, and not superfoods. It's broccoli and barley.
So it's all the practical
quinoa.
things. And when you look at the influence of this, I mean, do you feel optimistic about the relationship now between people and food? I mean, are we getting better, or is it still big food, big diet problems?
I'm always optimistic by nature, but I think there's still so much to do. And there's so much to do with the younger generation. And it's not just about, I don't think it ever works to tell people to count calories or to don't eat this. It's about raising awareness about why and how. And if it needs to be in schools, then it needs to be in schools.
And given everything you now know, if you were starting Planet Organic again, if you were starting it in 2018 as the year to start, how would it be different? Would it be a more digital business? Would it still have the same fundamentals?
No, I love the shop experience. That's where you have community. That's where you really touch the customer. Digital is less interesting to me because it's about creating community and a place where
and is
people
that a
can
connection?
talk.
I mean,
It is a connection.
Is it a tribal group?
Yes, well, it's about a safe space where people can go to shop and know that the information is genuine and it's not a marketing pitch or a sales pitch. It's actual real information about nutrition and health and well-being.
And do you think that you've helped shape those tastes, or did those tastes come to you in terms of the influence of the brand, especially in London?
Well, I like to think we've played our part, but obviously there are a lot of people doing really great things in the marketplace.
Right, it's time for a short break. Now we'll be right back, and when we do, we're going to be moving from food to female founders. It's the heart of a growing mission from Renee, and if she gets it right, it could supercharge the next chapter for women in business. Don't go away. Welcome back. My guest today is Planet Organic founder Renee Elliott. Now, Renee, you're no stranger to campaigning. A big issue for you is female founders, female entrepreneurs. Tell us a little bit about your views about being a woman in business today. How good or bad is it?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's always good, but there's a lot to learn. And I mentor startups and female, not only new founders, but entrepreneurs in general, on their entrepreneurial journey, because I think women ask for a lot of support. They need support in different ways. They're not just looking at the numbers or the marketing. They want a whole person process where they're being taken care of emotionally and psychologically.
But is it, in terms of comparing, your sort of early stage as an entrepreneur, is it better? And do things like, sort of the recent Oscars ceremony, sort of the Me Too, all the sort of things that we see that are spotlighting really the problems?
Yeah.
Are there correspondingly great examples of the opportunities, do you think?
There are always opportunities, and I think it's all in the media now, so you can't get away from it, and everyone's coming at it from different angles. But I think there's always opportunity. The opportunity now is there's a lot of support for women, which is great, whether it's funding or mentoring or just more open-mindedness, which gives opportunity for women.
Right. Now, in 2017, you co-founded a new organisation looking at business and life skills, Beluga Bean. Tell us a little bit about that.
So when I started Planet Organic, it was really about well-being and health, and that is your foundation. As I have grown older and wiser, I've looked at well-being across all of its sectors, and that's psychological, intellectual, spiritual,
mindset,
everything.
Yeah.
It's all areas of well-being, and Beluga Bean for me wraps all that up into an academy that I'm building with my partner, Sam Wigan, which is about life skills and business skills in all of these well-being areas. So when you go to school, what did you learn about how to raise a baby, how to feed yourself?
Not much.
How to communicate with your partner or someone at work. Yeah, very little. So it's all that stuff you didn't learn at school, that if you want to live 100% life, you want to do these courses and learn how to really live a full, exciting, exuberant life.
Well, because it's interesting, I was looking at the website, and I read you say this: I like to shake things up, and because I believe that conventional wisdom is not always smart. And, is what you've just been saying, is that what today's conventional wisdom is? Still teaching us the wrong information?
I think so. I think a lot of what you learn at school isn't useful. How much of what you learned at school do you consider to be life skills that you use day to day to live really well? To live a full life.
Right.
Answer one thing.
One thing.
Math, maybe. I use it in baking, but calculus, really?
So,
now, I'm not dissing education, and I want my kids to learn this stuff too, but there are other things that are really important, that you can end up with a PhD and not know how to communicate in your marriage or wean your baby.
So this is what, common sense?
It
Better
isn't
than common sense?
It's things you need to learn. They don't just come to you by osmosis. So these are life skills. There's also the business skills, which is how to launch a business, how to do your P&L, all of that work to getting a business off the ground or relaunching a business. But it's all covering all the aspects of well-being. So, for example, there's a course called Nest, which takes a woman through the end of her pregnancy into early motherhood. Now, what's happening in early motherhood? Postpartum depression. It's becoming normal. Shouldn't be normal. So this teaches you how to create the support around you so you don't go into that.
Right. So where are you sourcing the learnings from in terms of actually how you would deal with an issue like that? Where is that your own life experiences?
Sometimes it's mine. So I'll be doing Nourish, which is cooking and baking for health. I have, there's a woman called Alison Evans who's teaching Nest, who is she's a hypnobirther, doula, life coach. She has all this experience around babies and birth and coaching mothers in that regard. So we have other experts in our family.
The other side of this is that, and I think it comes across in your personality, if I would say, is that there's so much optimism and effervescent energy, and a lot of these courses are they not, are about how you achieve that sort of better self, I guess.
Yes, which is about choosing happiness, changing patterns, changing negative thinking, changing belief systems. You know, we carry beliefs around that we're not even aware of that affect how we do things, how we live. It's saying, okay, that doesn't work for you anymore. I'm going to live a different way. It's empowerment through choice.
Right, shake it up, love your work, make mistakes, put yourself first and enjoy the journey. Those your words. Give us a sense of how, a good lesson for viewers in terms of things they could do right now to actually live life that way.
Well, let's take women. So we had a course last week called Connect, and the theme was support. So it was 30 women around a table having a breakfast bowl. And we said, what support do you need? And some women said, me? Haven't thought about that. You know, pause, think about what you need, take time to take care of yourself so that you can be a powerful force in the world, so that you can be there for other people, which for women is sometimes a bit tricky. I put myself first so that I can be the best person I can be for everyone else.
Right. I mean, also, a lot of what you talk about is people and networks, actually surrounding yourselves with the right people.
Yes.
What are the things, for entrepreneurs that are in the early stages of this sort of journey? What's the lesson, if you will?
It's about not isolating yourself. So a lot of what we do is group work. Connect is group work, professional women coming together, because it's very lonely starting a business. There are ups and downs. It's not, oh, when I get here, it'll be better, or here. No, it's always like this, no matter where you are.
Have you experienced that loneliness yourself in the business, or have you always had a good support network?
At Planet Organic, no, but after that, you know, as a mom, you find a lot of women who are out in the countryside raising their kids, stop working, you're alone. Sometimes you get to work from home and you think, oh, so great, I'm working from home, I can do things. And then you think, actually, I'm all alone. Where are the other people? Where are my peeps? So this is about creating community and staying connected.
Now, Anita Roddick, the Body Shop founder, you've often talked about her as being your inspiration.
Yes.
She sadly passed away in 2007. Great champion of ethical consumerism, moral courage. If you were to sort of fast forward 11 years later to 2018, how do you view the business scene right now? Do we have that moral courage in sufficient quantities?
I think we do. I think I see it in a lot of entrepreneurs coming up. I work with a lot of women, and I see a lot of women with that. But obviously, men are doing great things too. I think it's a different era now. I think doing a business for why is a given now. It's about why are you doing it? Does it have purpose? There's a lot of social entrepreneurship.
Now, you came over to the UK from the States, right? You sort of, you made the journey across the pond. Now, before we jump across the pond, do you miss anything about American food?
I do, because when you think American food...
What is it, KFC?
No, and you think hamburgers. If another person says that, I'm going to slap them. I think, I was born in the South, and my heritage is New Orleans, where the food is spectacular. That's American food. And I was brought up on Creole food, jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. You sing the song if you must.
I can't sing, but I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this who are going to be very hungry right now. Now you moved. So why did you move over to the UK?
Because I was here in 1985 on a European Eurail Pass tour of Europe, and too late out one night, missed the last train home. Got on a night bus in Trafalgar Square. It went one stop to Lower Regent Street. Tall, dark, and handsome. Got on the bus. I went back and finished my degree, came over, dated this guy. I've been with my husband, Brian, for nearly 33 years.
So you met your husband on the bus? That's great. That's a good London story.
Yeah.
Sliding doors-esque.
Yes.
And so if it wasn't for that bus trip, we might not have Planet Organic.
That's right. I'd be back in Boston.
Do you think that actually, this whole point about sometimes you hear this about entrepreneur stories, is that there's so much luck and good fortune and being in the right place at the right time? I mean, do you just have to be lucky to be the sort of person that you are?
People say you have to be lucky, you make your own luck. But I've always felt I was lucky. But you have to grab opportunity when you see it. You have to not be afraid. You have to think, ooh, this could be something. When I met that guy, Brian, I thought, it's not a holiday romance. You know, and people were saying, oh, it's a holiday romance, you're on holiday. No, I thought this feels like something different. I was right, I went with that. And that's about trusting your gut, which is important no matter what you do.
So in terms of the next steps for mainstreaming the ideas that you have? You've got a great retail story, you've got the books, but in terms of this being a wider sort of opportunity for more people perhaps in other cities around the country to sort of get hold of, what are the next steps? What are the sort of things that people like you can do to popularise the ideals of healthy eating and healthy lifestyles?
A TV program that makes eating really well really easy? I don't know. I think it's a lot of voices saying the same thing, offering great food, showing people how to do it. It's not just about eating, of course, because the obesity problem, it's not just about what you're eating, it's about exercise as well, feeling good about yourself. You may not be eating that much if you were emotionally more joyful.
And when you look at the London food scene, how good is it now?
Oh, it's so good, and it's so much different. It's so much better than it was years ago. It's changing. I used to go out. You know, there are people like me who shop at Planet who eat really well at home, and then they go out and think, you know, do I go to a restaurant? Where do I go? And you have to be really choosy. You know, when we travel abroad, you know, carrying bags of food on the plane, because we just don't eat that rubbish that they serve. But now you can go out, you can find a cafe, a restaurant, you can find snacks. It's everywhere. It's really changing.
But also with Planet, I mean, a lot of people just want to eat at home now. I mean, will more of us just sort of forego restaurants and eat at home because we can get great restaurant quality food?
I don't think. I think it's always going to be a blend of both.
Room for both.
Yes.
Renee, thank you. And that's all we have time for this week. And a big thank you to my guest, Renee Elliott, whose Planet Organic and Beluga Bean stories are proof that dividends can come from feeling great. And if this story of energy, enthusiasm and integrity has given you some get up and go, join me for the next Capital Conversation. I'll see you then.